morning, everybody.
Good morning, Kelly. Didn't want to ignore you.
Is that showing up okay on everybody's screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Cool, thank you.
Yep, looks good.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Mrs. Ramos.
How are you? Again.
Fancy meeting you guys here.
I hope my parents come.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I was just telling Mr. Crane, I don't know what to expect in terms of attendance, especially this morning. I don't know how the attendance will, how much it will be different from the morning to the evening session.
Yeah.
Really know. I'm hoping that people come because they're hungry for information and we have a lot to share with them.
Well, we have one parent who just logged in.
Oh,
that's
welcome.
Good. I give it a phone number too, just in case.
Good.
Yeah. You know, it's new for them too, and they don't know what to expect, and they are a little afraid to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that baby Hunter that I see.
Mm-hmm. That's what that's what I'm going in the meeting, because like I told you, yeah, I'm gonna find out what's gonna happen, with this. I mean, all the information, then I'm gonna call the parents and tell them.
Yes.
to be sure that they know. Yep,
Spread the word.
yep.
I think that's Hunter. Hi, Hunter.
He's like, see ya.
I know. They can see me? What? I guess I'll do the good webinar thing and say, welcome to our virtual back to school meeting. We will begin shortly.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So many participants. We're probably all RGJ. So far it is.
You probably can get him to come up. Well, you used to. You should.
Thank you to those of you who've logged in early. We will plan to get started right at 10, so we're still gathering at this point.
That's the look we're going for.
I think a few more parents have joined. I just wanted to pop on and say welcome. Thank you. We are still gathering and aiming for a 10 o'clock start. So thanks for joining a few minutes early. We are all on mute at this point. So if you don't hear anything, just stay tuned and we'll get started right at 10.
Good morning, RG Jones. Are we ready to begin, Miss Kelly? Can you?
I'm here, sorry. Yes.
That's all right. All right, we're going to get this meeting started. I want to say good morning to all of our families. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Melissa Watts, and I am principal of RG Jones. I'm the proud principal. I've been the principal for the past 8 years, and I truly am very excited about this upcoming school year. We're about to embark on a journey that is going to be a little scary, but more exciting than anything else. So first, I want to give a big welcome to the new members of the RG Jones family, and a welcome back to those of you that were with us last year. I do want to acknowledge that I know we're all stressed. I know our kids are stressed. I know our families are stressed. I know the staff is stressed. And I want to assure you that our biggest goal here at RG Jones is to help support your kids through this challenging, uncertain times. But I equally want to assure you that we're here to support you. We may not have all the answers. We may not be able to get all the resources you need, but I'd like you to give us a chance to try. Please reach out and let us see how we can help support you as well as your kids. So I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions, happening right now. Hopefully we're going to answer the majority of those questions throughout this presentation. If not, please feel free to put your questions into the chat. At the end of the presentation, we're going to have a Q&A session. And if we still don't get to it then, we're going to give you our contact information so you can reach out to any of us and we will do our best to get you the answer that you're looking for. I also, I got to pause for a minute and say hi to the kids. I see our kids waving and saying hi, and I want to wave back. And it's so nice to see your faces. We miss you. I miss you. I miss your faces, your smiles. I miss your hugs. We will be together again. I know we will. I'm not sure when, but it's coming. But in the meantime, oh my gosh, guys, we have such an adventure planned for you. Your teachers have been planning for weeks and weeks, so many fun and exciting activities, virtual field trips. It's going to be amazing. They are so excited to see you. So I'm about to turn this over to Miss Kelly for the next part. And I will see all of you Tuesday morning, 8:30. Don't be tardy. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Watts. Again, just wanted to welcome everybody to the first of our 2 scheduled back to school meetings. Just a few quick reminders and kind of housekeeping items. First, please, if you are not muted, please mute yourself. We are recording this meeting, so for any families that were not able to attend or family members that you might have in your households who are going to be helping in our kind of your co-pilots in this remote learning time frame, we will be recording these sessions and putting them up on our website so that you can go back to them and reference them. So please feel free to share this information with any other family members that you have that are going to be responsible for remote learning during this time frame. As Ms. Watts mentioned, if you have questions during the presentation, we are watching the chat box. Our hope is that as the presentation goes, that we will answer probably a very high percentage of the questions that you have. But if you'd like to go ahead and drop them in the chat, we do have some Mr. Crane, who has graciously volunteered to be our chat moderator for these sessions. So she will summarize those questions for us so we make sure we have answers for you at the end of the time that we have reserved for the Q&A session. And then if you are calling in, I think I saw a couple of phone numbers that were dialed in for the meeting, and you have a question, you are welcome to email me, kelly.hackis@clevelandmetroschools.org, and we will make sure that we get an answer for you as well. So I am going to turn it back over to Ms. Watts to start talking a little bit more about the priorities that we have set as a school and as a district during this very unique time.
Thanks, Kelly. So I'm going to take a minute to talk about our priorities. First, I'm going to talk about the district, Cleveland School District as a whole, the priorities. In the past, our priority number 1, obviously, has always been instruction. It's always been our priority. But this year, due to these uncertain times, the priority has changed. Our number 1 priority is maintaining the health, safety, and the well-being of your kids, of our families, and our staff. So that is absolutely our number 1 priority. Our next priority is to exemplify excellence in learning and teaching, while filling education with joy, aligning it to the curriculum and a unified core curriculum, a coherent unified core curriculum. All that means is that our second priority is to offer excellent instruction, aligned to the standards, and make it fun for our kids. We want our kids to love learning, love the process of learning. The third priority for our district is to support our scholars, our staff, and our families while we're all learning together what it's like to live in this remote learning environment. The fourth priority is to ensure the operational efficiency across Cleveland School District. We're going to be flexible while keeping in mind the financial health of the district. The last and final priority is to partner with all of our community organizations, leveraging all the local assets to more fully and equitably support our scholars and their families. We here at RG Jones are particularly lucky because we do have Ms. Kelly Hackis, our site coordinator. That is 100% the description of her role here. She goes out and partners, develops the relationships, brings in our community organizations and to help meet the needs of our families. That's why I implore you, please reach out. If you have any need for your child or for yourself, please reach out. Kelly has a lot of connections. Thanks, Kelly. Next one. You get this slide. All right, so having gone over the priorities of Cleveland schools and RG Jones as well, I want to talk about our commitments to you. We're all in this together. We all know, I don't want to, use those terms that we've all been hearing for the past 5 months about, this is our new normal and this is unprecedented times and all that. But the fact is, it's true. It really is true. And during these crazy times, we here at RG Jones are committed to supporting all of you, to supporting our students, the families, and the staff. We're going to help each other adapt to the new ways of learning. We know that it is stressful and just, it's crazy, it's strange to sit there and think, the first day of school, you're not getting all dressed up and walking up to the building, but you're going to walk into your dining room and open a computer and say hi to your teacher. But we're going to support you through the entire process. We also are committed to a regular communication with you. We're going to show you this new wonderful platform that you can communicate with the teachers, with administration, with the school as a whole. We're going to walk you through that, but it's set up. It's going to hopefully make your lives pretty easy to talk to us. We're also committed to partnering with the organizations and not just creating those partnerships, but getting that information to you to help connect you to the partner. So the final commitment, again, is working together, learning together how to make it through this new normal. I think it's, while it is scary, I think it's really exciting. Our kids, we heard it when we were kids. Everybody's gone to school. People love to say, oh, when I was in school, we did it this way. None of this has ever been done before. So you, our kids, our family, you get to help us figure out what that new normal is going to look like. I'm excited. I'm excited for the opportunity. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Kelly. Or Clay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mr. Clay.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me. We're going to go over some of the important contacts with their emails address. You have Ms. Watts. Just list the emails of some of our people that get the most questions throughout the school. Ms. Watts' email address and the office phone number. You have myself, email address, and my cell phone number. Ms. Hackis' email address. She's the wraparound site coordinator who can, if you need additional resources, she's the person that you look to with that, and her work number. Ms. Burkhart, she's in charge of, if you have special ed questions, you can reach your questions to her. If you have a student with disabilities. Ms. Ruth Ramos, she helps us in, our Spanish speaking families. And Mr. DeMarco helps us with our English language learners. So you have Ms. Ruth Marcos and Mr. DeMarco. Other important numbers that CMSD have came up with, we have a COVID-19 hotline. If you have any questions pertaining to COVID-19, The second number is very important. If you feel you're having, if you need some social and emotional supports, you can dial that 838-2273. The next number is just as important as well, because everyone's going to be, using the technology devices and things of that nature. CMSD has set up their own support. So you have a computer support, and that number is the 216-838-0440. So that number is going to be on all of the handouts that we give you, that support form, it's on there. And if you call up to the office, one of our secretaries will be able to give you that number, but that's going to be a much needed number if you're having technology issues. The multicultural, multilingual support number is on there as well. If you need enrollment questions, more support, special ed. Now, these are the district numbers, the Family and Community Engagement Special Ed Office. But before the local, school level, Family and Community Engagement would be Kelly Hackett. Special ed questions would be Courtney Burkhart. But if additional questions, that's the Special Ed Office right there. Our Project Act number is there. And different numbers, just the main hotline, 838-0000. If you see something that you can't get answered, you can use a regular district main number. Community resources down, we have a suicide hotline, domestic violence hotline. So we just United Way. We just want to give you numbers for multiple resources that's available that the district have thought of to help us in this time of remote learning. Also, if you want to come up to the school, I know we've had some people come up today thinking that the meeting was in the school. So if you ever have any questions, please call up to the school. Our school office is open every day from 8 to noon and from 1 to 4. The same number, 838-6750, you can call. Now, it's a little challenging. It's different now as far as just walking in. So we would ask that you can call and make an appointment if you had to come in and give information or just to talk to someone. Visitors, you have to complete a COVID-19 screening, and that's the same with all the teachers. We have to get our temperatures checked as well as a precaution to stop the spread of COVID-19. Also, within the school building, we're going to ask that everyone stay 6 feet away. All visitors must wear a face mask, just like all the other public places here in Cuyahoga County. And if you don't have a mask, we will have one for you in the building. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clay. So right now I want to take a minute and talk about technology. In the springtime, our priority was to get one piece of technology, whether it was an iPad or a Chromebook, one per family. Now we are fortunate enough, CEO Gordon has been working all summer to make it happen one per child. So every student at RG Jones, every student in the city of Cleveland actually, will either get an iPad or a Chromebook. Grades pre-K to second are going to get iPads. Grades 3 to 8 will get a Chromebook. If you have not already gotten one for each child, reach out. We're going to give you more contact information in a couple of minutes, but we have one for you. We're going to get it for you. My goal is to distribute those like we did in the spring and actually 2 weeks ago. I want to schedule a date for Thursday for another round of technology distribution. However, I cannot yet guarantee that they're going to be in RG Jones and ready for delivery on Thursday. But I'm going to keep you posted. I will reach out. Right now, what I want you to do is trust that you will get one per child, not one per family, but one for every child in your home. And if you need help with the internet, we will provide a hotspot for you as well. Can I hit it? Okay. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is all this communication and remote learning, everything we're talking about. I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. The word at the top of the left is called Schoology, like eulogy. That's how you pronounce it, Schoology. It's a remote learning platform. Schoology is an integrated learning management solution which provides course management, mobile learning, support, and communication. Schoology also enables our scholars, our parents, and our teachers to engage in learning with learning materials, with their school community, classroom and beyond. With Schoology, our scholars can digitally submit their homework, their assignments, look at their grades, participate in discussions, take their tests, so much more. As a parent, you're going to be able to view your child's activity and progress with the platform and communicate with the families. I personally am not a tech savvy person, so that sounds like a lot. But what I want to tell you what that is, in the past, if you've been at RG Jones, we used to use a lot of different ways to connect with you. Your teachers used Dojo, so they would text you through Dojo. You could log into nGrade and you could look at your child's grades and their tests and all that kind of thing. You could log into the school website and find the kids' pink homework sheets so you knew the assignments accepted and all that. But with that, we all had to have a ton of logins and passwords, all that kind of thing. The beauty of Schoology is it's one-stop shopping. All of that information is going to be in one place, and in one place for all your kids. Any child you have in the Cleveland district, if you have one student who is at RG Jones and one student who is in high school at John Marshall, you as the guardian, you're only going to have to log into one place to find all that information. So Schoology it's a gift, it's one-stop shopping, and it's very doable, I promise. And we're going to walk you through it. So could you go to the next slide, please? All right, so this is going to tell you a little bit more of the details about how to get into Schoology. And again, I promise we're here to support you. We're going to help you figure out how to access Schoology on your own. So parents and kids can access Schoology through Clever, through the Clever portal. If your kids went to pretty much any school in Cleveland, but especially RG Jones, your kids already know how to access Clever. And if they forget, because it's been months and months, that's absolutely not a problem. We're going to help them remember. I promise all the teachers, we forgot our passwords too. So we don't want your kids to stress about it. We're going to help. But they're going to go into Clever. You're going to go into this Cleveland schools website. Then you're going to go into Clever, and Clever will take you to Schoology, and there you're going to find everything. So our kids are going to use their digital badge or their username and passwords to log into Clever. Again, they had them last year, but we're going to give them again this week, so you don't need to worry about it. Parents that do not yet have a Clever username and passwords from last year, you're going to get one. You're going to get an email invitation, and on that email that you have on file at your child's school, that's the email that we're going to use. So if you want to update that, if you want to change your email, it's so important that you tell us that right away. You can call the school. You can email any one of us on that contact list. You're going to find out who your teacher is in the next day or two. You can call them, but it's really important that you update your email address so that we can send you the invite so you'll have access. And then once we do that, if you still haven't received your email invitation or you need help logging into Clever, we're here for you. So we're going to get you through it. Don't worry about that part. All right, the next one. All right, so now I'm going to talk about what the school day is going to look like in this new remote environment. Students will still go to school virtually, will be in school Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 3 o'clock, just like they've always been. What the actual lessons or the day is going to look like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So all week except for Wednesday is going to be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous time. I'm kind of those two giant words, synchronous and asynchronous. The teachers and I laugh about it because we kind of trip over those words. All they mean is synchronous. It's like synchronized swimming. It just means together. Synchronous learning is going to be the teacher and the kids on the computer at the same time working together. Synchronous time, working together. Asynchronous is alone time. It's the kids working alone, independent work, classwork, projects, reading, that kind of thing, independent work. Asynchronous, alone time. Synchronous, the teacher and the kids working together at the same time. You can expect our scholars to have up to 180 minutes per day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, not Wednesday, 180 minutes of asynchronous time. That does not necessarily mean in a row, and that's going to vary by grade level, just like it would if they were in our school building. So for example, every child at RG Jones will log on the computer 8:30 to 9 o'clock. They'll see their homeroom teacher, they're going to have their class meeting and do all those activities. So every child at RG Jones is going to log on 8:30, 9 o'clock. That'll be 30 minutes of that 180 minutes that we're talking about. Then it's going to change per grade, and we're going to get you that schedule. So I want you to be assured that's coming. So for example, maybe a first grader might log on live with the teacher from 9 to 9:30. Then the child will log off and practice that reading assignment they just learned from the teacher. Then the child may log back on at 10:15 and get the teacher live for the math portion of the day. So it's going to be a combination live with the teacher, then they're going to log off so they have practice time to work on that skill they just went over with the teacher. Then they're going to log back on for their subject. Again, it's just like we did when we're live and in person and in the building. If the teacher is doing the reading lesson, they start the lesson, might be a 90-minute literacy block. It starts off with about 20 minutes, half an hour, whole group, explaining, teaching, setting the expectation, and then the kids go and work on their own. So we're going to keep that system in place. We're going to do that even in this environment. Wednesdays are going to look a little different. Wednesday are set aside for family engagement, virtual family engagement, for asynchronous learning. That's the children, again, doing alone time, practicing independent work. It's going to be also used for tutoring or for small group instruction. And it's office hours. So if you need to contact any one of us, we'll be here for you. And Wednesday, we're dedicating that time just to be available for you. Preschool is going to look a little different. This year, we do not offer in Cleveland a full day preschool. I know in the past, we've always had 2 full day preschools. Right now, everybody is going to be half day. And that's with the intention that when we do come back to the building, that we're going to be able to abide by the guidelines for social distancing. So it'll only be half the kids in the class. That's why we're doing half day. So preschool, you're going to get contacted by your preschool teacher, and they're going to go over this more in detail. But basically, it's going to be about 90 minutes of synchronous together with the teacher, live teaching, and then about 80 minutes of asynchronous, alone or independent working practice time. All right, next slide.
Okay, just want everyone to know that on Tuesday is the first day of school. School begins Tuesday, September 8th at 8:30. Like Mrs. Watts had mentioned before, the student will just simply go on to the CMSD site, log on to Clever, and once they log on, they'll see their classes, and then they'll start their school day. They'll start their school year for 2020. Yeah, it's moving. But that's going to be the start of our school day. So, you know, we have a lot of things we're going to get accomplished from now to September 8th, but we will start school on September 8th at 8:30. So I know Ms. Watts had mentioned it before, that we will be having meet the teacher grade level meetings. So this is the time schedule. We're going to have those on Wednesday and Thursday. So you should be receiving a phone call from your teacher before this date to give you some of that login information. But on these days, it's going to be a smaller, more intimate Zoom meeting that you'll be with your grade level, and they're going to go throughout the day. So we're going to send this information out to you as well. When the teacher calls you individually, she's going to, he or she is going to remind you of that Zoom meeting and the time. And it just gives a list of all the times that we're going to have on Wednesday and on Thursday. So like I said, those grade level teachers will call to make sure you're aware of these meetings. And all those meetings, if you can't make it during one of these times, these meetings will be recorded. So you can see them on our website and you can look at them at a different time. And if you have additional questions, you can always contact myself, Mrs. Watts, or Ms. Hackett, or the individual classroom teacher. You can email them as well. Go right ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to make sure I see it in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and answer this one, so you can be rest assured on that. Your individual teachers are going to call you, introduce themselves, so that you know who your child's teacher is and you know which meeting to attend. So you can expect those calls. People are using their own personal phones and that, so please take the call. I know I sometimes don't answer if I don't recognize it, but I want you to expect the call. They're going to call everybody, introduce themselves, and give you your child's clever login in case they forgot it. We have it. So expect that call from your teacher.
All right, so I know a lot of families are, kind of interested and curious on how can you support your scholars' remote learning. I know in the past, you do a good job of getting your scholars to school. Now you have to take a bigger role in that. So CMSD come up with some guidelines to try to help support, give us some, some items that we should do and try to help support our scholars when they're at home. So I know a couple of these questions were asked in the Zoom, so this will answer some of those questions. So in order to get the kid back into a routine of school, we want them to try to wake up every day, make up their bed, brush their teeth, wash their face, whatever they do during their normal process, getting dressed for school, etc. And that's going to be a major part of getting back in that routine or that procedure. Someone asked about school uniforms earlier. School uniforms are not required for the first 9 weeks, where scholars should wear like school appropriate clothing during the remote learning. We don't want a kid to come with no shirt on or anything of that nature. We want the kid to be up, energized, eat breakfast if possible, but most of the time we will be able to, and be ready to learn at 8:30. You're going to get a schedule from us as well, but we want you all to create a schedule with your child and make a commitment and stick to it. So like during this time, we all know from 8:30 to 3, like Ms. Watts said, your child will be engaged in school day activities. And it's going to be in front of the computer with the whole class doing their work, or they can still stay in front of the computer, but the teacher won't be there for some of those times and they can complete their work and then log back and forth. They're going to have access to all of their specials as well. So they're going to have PE, they're going to have music, library, everything is still going to be going on through the virtual school format. Like we mentioned before, structure, routine will greatly help your child from falling behind with their assignments. So we want to give them a time that they can still continue to read at night like you would normally do, find them a good area so they can complete their assignments in. And we want to make it seem as much as normal as possible during these times. So that's what we're looking for. Discuss with your families a schedule, identify the best times for learning and instruction, as well as family-oriented physical activities such as walks outside. So we want everyone to get into a routine like after school day is over or something like that, being able to go out and enjoy themselves safely if possible. Also, I want to send out, make sure you can get a family calendar with visuals that could be useful for keeping track of deadlines and assignments. So you are going to be able to see the Schoology page. So you'll be able to update your student to see what assignments they have as well. So hopefully we can come up with a schedule that'll help the students stay on track of their assignments.
Thanks, Mr. Clay. So I'll just jump in here with a few of these things too. So, in addition to having schedule, I think that space is really important to kind of identify a space in your home that your child will be. So whether it's, consistently at the dining room table, or if there's a quiet spot in their bedroom or in a corner of the living room where they'll be logged in, where the TV isn't blaring in the background, or, other siblings are running around, really trying to create that space where kids can really focus in on and hone in on their learning is really important. Bedrooms are great, but beds are there too. And so, they don't get to lay down in their bed with their blanket on during class on a regular day. So we really wanted to try to feel like school. So your assignment over the next couple of days as we get closer to the start of the first day of school is to really try to figure out what space your child will be using at home for that remote learning time as well. In terms of supporting your scholars' emotional wellness, this is a conversation that our staff has had, and really trying to, understand that this has been a stressful time. Abruptly leaving school in March was stressful on our students. We heard that from a lot of you. I have a young child, school-age child. It was stressful for him. So I experienced it firsthand as well. And so this is just another transition. And so we are looking for your help, because we aren't with them physically every day, to really try to watch for any behavior changes. If they are extra upset or get upset more quickly than they might normally, if they seem worried, if they seem sad, they might be signs that your child is struggling with stress and anxiety. So we are working and making sure that we are especially attuned to that, but we're asking for your assistance and looking for those types of behaviors as well. Ask how your child's feeling, talk to them about it. Sometimes, particularly with young kids, they need to name their feelings because they don't know what they are yet. And so, talking to them about why they might be feeling sad or why they might be feeling stressed. Communicate with your teacher about those feelings. We also have great emotional supports through Ms. Holder, who usually is in our planning center and works with social emotional activities for kids. We also have still school-based counseling. So even though we're in a remote setting, we have a counselor that we can connect you with to make those conversations a little easier if you feel like it's more than just a couple of days of being sad and getting into a school routine. But if it feels like there's more, please communicate with us so that we can work together to support your scholar the best we can. As Mr. Clay mentioned, identifying opportunities for your child to be physically active. So, they're in the home, they're on the computer, they're logged in for their lessons. Maybe during their lunchtime, they can go outside and play, or, as we head into the more inclement weather months in Cleveland, it might just be having a few, Just Dance videos pulled up on YouTube so they can get the wiggles out. But having an opportunity for them to be physically active, I think, is really important. Kids need that. We offer them recess at school. They have gym. And so, that activity will need to happen at home, obviously, during this remote learning time. So, don't be afraid to get them outside and breathing some fresh air and walking, even just if it's a walk around the neighborhood and things like that too. But we are here. I know Ms. Watts has said that several times. We are here to support you as much as we're here to support your scholars and your students. So if something's going on, please let us know so we can collectively troubleshoot that problem and make sure that everybody is feeling safe and happy and healthy.
Ms. Hackes, can
Yes,
I
ma'am.
tag on to that for a second?
Of course.
A few parents have shared their concerns that their kids are just plain old scared. They're nervous about forgetting school, forgetting how to do school, that kind of thing. I just want to really assure you and in turn ask you to assure your kids. We're well aware that we lost a lot of instructional time. The kids have not been in school in 5 months. Nobody's going to give them a test when they come back to school. Nobody's going to scold them for not doing flashcards or reading 20 minutes every night. I just want to reassure them, don't worry about it. We all kind of fell behind a little bit with that, all these months at home. Just show up. Show up on Tuesday at 8:30, and I promise we will take it from there. Please reassure your kids, this is not a gotcha moment. This is, we want to see you, we miss you, and we're going to help figure out where you're at and how to move forward. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. No problem. So last week, every family should have received a phone call from a staff member at RGJ. This is part of the district's family care plan. And so our educators have been calling families to help families select meal service options, which if you're not familiar with what that means, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But talk to us about, what kinds of technology support you might need, offer some information on some places locally where families might be able to send scholars for remote learning if you can't be home. I know there are a couple of pods that are popping up, learning pods is what they're calling them, that are popping up in the neighborhood. And so the district is actually collecting a citywide list of those. I'm keeping tabs on what's happening in our neighborhood so that we can share that information with you also. But that might be an option if that's something that is needed for your family. And then also talk about what other kinds of support you might be needing. So obviously I am here above and beyond any conversations that you have with the family care plan. So please feel free to reach out to me if there's something that you need. As Ms. Watts said, I'm connected with a lot of the community organizations, and a large part of the reason that I'm here is to support you guys and make sure that you as a family have everything that you need so that your kids can be successful, whether they're learning remotely or whether they're learning in person at school. So with those family care plan calls, I know Ms. Watts mentioned a lot of our teachers are working remotely. They're not in the school building. You may not recognize their cell phone numbers. Please try to answer calls this week from unrecognized numbers if you can, so that you don't miss those family care plan calls, our calls about meeting your teacher, and our calls about our technology distribution when those come, so that you're 100% ready on Tuesday to be here for learning. So I did want to talk briefly about meal distribution. So there are two options that you have. As you know, during this closure time since March, RGJ has been one of 22 sites across the city that's been offering lunch and breakfast. The district is opening that up so that there are breakfast and lunch options that will be available to pick up beginning Tuesday, September 8th. The times are from 10:30 to 2, so you have a very wide window in which to come and pick up meals. You will get a letter. You should be receiving a letter in the mail with a barcode that your child can bring up to the meal site. If you don't receive a letter, we can help you find one. I also don't want you to stress out about, oh gosh, Jimmy didn't bring his barcode with him to go pick up his meal. They will not be denied a meal at any school where they go to pick up if they don't have the barcode. They just need to let the folks know that they're picking up and that RGJ is their home school. The district is encouraging, I think, just so that they can kind of predict and forecast how much to stock at each building, whether or not you plan to go up to a school building each day and pick up lunch items and breakfast items. There is an option where you can go just once a week and pick up meals for the remaining week. So we'll go over that next. So option 1 is when you pick up 4 days during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's the grab and go service that you've come to know and love. And on Tuesdays, what will happen is you'll get breakfast and lunch for Tuesday and Wednesday, so that you have that coverage in that gap, because the school buildings will be closed for sanitation purposes and things like that on Wednesdays. The second option that you have is that once a week pickup. So the option one is happening at any K-8 building in the entire district. So if you don't live close to RG Jones, but you live closer to Artemis Ward and want to walk up there and pick up meals, you can. But that's the one, option one is picking up meals every day. Option two is available at the 17 high school sites, and is where you can pick up 1 week worth of meals at a time on Tuesdays. So you would go to the closest neighborhood high school and pick up the meals on a weekly basis there. So I just wanted to make sure that we reviewed the meal options. That's something that we're asking about on those family planning calls, so that you have a sense of where you can go to grab meals and so on and so forth. The next slide here is supports and resources at our school. So I have listed my email and contact information again. I'm the community wraparound coordinator. So if you need basic needs assistance, connection to community programs and resources, believe it or not, we're going to bring back after school programs here once we get the school year started. So there will be some options for that as well. So if you need to reach out to me for any reason, you've got my contact information. Nurse Julie, who has joined us for the call, is doing virtual school nursing. So if you need to reach out to her with any kind of medical concerns or questions as it pertains to school, and maybe you have a question about what the school policies are on COVID-19, or a question about medication or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to Nurse Julie. She is awesome and excited to work with all of our families again. Miss Holder is our planning center instructional assistant, so she is available for any questions that you might have about social emotional support. So that might be if you notice that your kid is starting to act out a little bit or acting maybe not quite themselves. Miss Holder is happy and available to engage with scholars on a more one-on-one basis or anything like that. So please feel free to reach out to her. And then I did mention earlier that we do have that school-based mental health counseling. That service is available by administration referral only. So you can reach out to me, Ms. Watts, Mr. Clay. You can talk to your classroom teacher about the concerns, your child's homeroom teacher. And then we will connect you with that resource as well, as it's appropriate. And now is the time that I think you've all been waiting for. So if you have questions, if you have comments that we have not yet been able to answer for you, please feel free to drop those in the chat. I know Mr. Crane has been working diligently throughout. I've seen the little chat bubble. I haven't been watching it, but I've seen the little notifications pop up. So I know that she has been trying to summarize your questions best so we can make sure that we answer those. And then if you are on the phone and you have a specific question, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Clay. And we'll make sure that we get those questions answered for you. I know that you won't be able to place your questions specifically in the chat. So, Mr. Crane, if you want to unmute yourself, did we have any questions?
Just a few items. A parent had asked about wearing uniforms. Mr. Clay did go over that. They're not expected to be in uniform while remote learning, but should be dressed appropriately with, a shirt that does not have anything offensive, something good to wear. Another parent asked, are they going to be doing any kind of uniform assistance this year?
So I can actually take that one. During our remote learning time, they are not offering the uniform assistance in the way that it has been offered in the past. I did inquire about that, and I think that they're planning on getting that program started again, depending on what our decision is after the first kind of 9-week period. If we end up going back to school in a hybrid model or method, we will be opening that program up again as well.
Thank you. And another question, we have a parent of a kindergartner who came up and received a Chromebook during our last pass out. And it was mentioned that they will be using iPads. And I told the parent they could just come up and exchange it. But they wondered if they have to make that exchange or if they're allowed to continue with the Chromebook.
Thanks, Mr. Crane. We are going to ask that they bring the Chromebook up and trade it in for the iPad. The iPads for pre-K to second grade are going to be pre-populated with special programs and apps that are made for the kindergartners. So we will have to ask you to make that exchange.
Thank you, Mrs. Watson. That's all the questions that we had.
Okay.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank all of you for participating in our first.
We actually can't write any more questions on.
No, we don't want to do it live. If you have any more questions, please put them in the chat. We'll go back over it again and we will respond to them. We'll try to find answers for you. So to summarize, you will learn how to use Schoology. You will be getting a phone call from your child's teacher, introducing themselves, telling you which class that your child is, and you'll be getting another phone call that lets you know when the next round of technology is, hopefully Thursday or Friday. So again, thank you so much for participating. We look forward to a successful year and seeing your kids on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Mrs. Watts,
Yes?
it came across the bottom that it sounded like a parent said it was not letting them type any more questions in at this time.
It's not at all. It says your comments can't reach Mrs. Crane at this time.
Did you have a
I just want to know about the supply list because everything is cheaper right now at the store. I'd like to, prepare for when we do go back. So I'd like to have the supply lists, and I can't find anything anywhere.
Right. Thank you for the question. That's an excellent question. I forgot to mention that. In addition to passing out technology, one device per child, the district has also purchased a box of school supplies for each child. The boxes obviously contain different items based on the grades. Everybody in pre-K to 12 will get a set of earbuds and a couple other supplies. Your teacher will tell you when they do their meeting what supplies you need that are specific to that grade. And I don't want you to stress about that. Our goal is to try to help take the stress off. I appreciate you being proactive about it, but we're not going to ask for a crazy amount of supplies, and we're going to help you get them if we need them.
I know that Eric Gordon said too that he's thinking about not having uniforms this year. So when will we find that out if the uniforms are required?
I do not know the answer to that question, but I will absolutely ask, and I'll get that question back to you. The answer back.
Ms. Watts, I did have one more question that came to me via text regarding the food service and the meal options. If there's a parent that's still on that was wondering if you pick up the option 2, which would be the weekly pickups at the high school, the times are still the same. So from 10:30 to 2 would be the time that you could go to the school on Tuesdays to pick up those weekly meals. So hopefully that answers and clears that up for that parent as well. Good question. Thank you for asking.
And to the other question, so there are 3 things that we're going to be giving to every child. We're going to give a technology, whether it's a Chromebook or an iPad. We're going to be giving a box of school supplies based on your grade level. And we're also going to be giving workbooks. So for example, your child will get a workbook, a consumable for reading, they'll get one for math, that kind of thing. Our goal is to give them all at once, so you only have to make one trip up. And again, my goal is to distribute that Thursday or Friday. Hopefully it'll all be in the building. I do want to reassure you, I saw a couple comments that we don't have that in advance. I promise you, I've been in the district 21 years. I've never seen people work harder and more committed to supporting you. It's just the global thing. Everybody's trying to buy those supplies. So we're getting them as fast as we can, and we will get them to you as fast as we can. All right, Mr. Crane, did you have any more?
One parent just asked, when is that going to be? And I think you just addressed that as soon as we physically have the supplies and things in the building, we will notify parents of a pickup time.
Correct. Yes, thank you.
I think that's
All right,
everything.
so again, I want to thank all of you for spending the time with us. We are really excited to see your kids again. We miss them. We like your kids. They're fun. So we will see you all Tuesday. Answer our calls. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
They're dropping like flies now. Those are all our teachers. We did have 60 some.
Still.